Good morning. Welcome to Friday. I know, I think I'm a minute late this morning. Welcome to Friday, and everyone that's watching. If you are there, do pop a hello in the comments so that I can say hello back. And here we are. Nearly at the Samhain date, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Jane. Don't need my name on there, do you? You know who I am. Let's move that out of the way. There we go. Then you can see Eric under his blanket. He is there. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, Karen. Good evening, Sephora. Sounding much better. Yeah, I still got a few coughs, but yes, that was a long old cough cold. Getting rid of that one. Very annoying. Good morning, Leslie. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Xenia. Lots of lovely people. Welcome to Friday. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Janet. It is that witching time of the year. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Emma. Good morning, Mary Ann. Oh dear, power of speech has left me already. Good morning, Hannah from Windswept in Wales. Yes, damp and dreary here in Hampshire too. Sephora has Eric gone Scottish. Well, he's actually Polish. Originally came from Poland, didn't he? He doesn't mind what colour the blanket is, as long as it's a blanket. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Trudy. Lots of people here already. Maria, who is that on your top? It is. See that? It is Life on Mars. Hair out the way. Life on Mars. It's 1973. Nearly dinner time. And I'm having oops. If you've not seen Life on Mars, you do need to see Life on Mars. It was a present from my children. Fantastic TV show. Gene Hunt and Sam Tyler. Brilliant program. The Gene Genie, Jackie. Yes, absolutely. Lots of comments already, and I've missed them all. Sunny and warm in northern Germany. Excellent. Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, Jackie. Yeah, Genie, we love him. It's the old master. Jane, still got the cough as well. Any ideas for herbal or magical remedies for the dreaded tickle and post-nasal drip? Elderberry cordial, very good. I've had plenty of hot honey and lemon, and a saline nasal spray cleanse thing works very well too, but it hangs around. Good morning, Helen. Kerry, followed by Ashes to Ashes. Yes, Life on Mars with the 70s one, Ashes to Ashes with the 80s ones. Both fab, yeah. Leslie, loved Life on Mars. Yeah, brilliant. Heather, Pete is very quiet. He's been super busy this week. He's had to do lots of brain hurty stuff. Yeah. He's been very focused this week and incredibly quiet.
Won't last for long.
No, won't last for long. No, he's got a Halloween gig tonight, haven't you? Yeah. Fancy dress. Good morning, Amanda. Just pre-ordered your new book. Excellent, thank you. I've got a copy here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. There we are. All right, sorry, didn't mean to disturb you. Yep. A witch for every season. Coming to a bookstore near you. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Colin. Welcome. Xenia's asking if there's coffee. I heard the kettle boil. I did hear the kettle boil.
I'm just going to put the Witch of Seasons link.
Heather wants to know what you're dressing up as. He's going as a gangster.
My birthday suit.
Going his birthday suit, yes. A gangster. He's going as a mafia gangster.
Online book launch link is
Thank you. Right, let's do a quick rundown. So let's get these out of the way first, and then we'll talk about Samhain events. Tomorrow, Saturday 29th of October, I'm doing an online 3-hour workshop for the College of Psychic Studies on nature spirits. So all about elementals and dryads and all that jazz. Sunday the 30th, this weekend, over on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook page and Kitchen Witch YouTube channel, we have our online Samhain ritual. Details are on both on the Kitchen Witch Coven. We've got a craft, obviously, very spidery craft. Everyone welcome. Open, free to everyone. Saturday 5th of November, during the day, Wandering Witches Festival over in Horndean, Hampshire. Very, very good event. In the evening, I'm doing an online book launch for A Witch for Every Season. Going to be giving away a book or two. 19th of November, I'm at Witchfest Feltham with the girls giving a talk. 4th of December, I'm doing an in-person event at the College of Psychic Studies in London, Amulets and Talismans workshop. Myself and Ness are going to be there doing all sorts of crafty witchy things. And then what we got then? 11th of December, for anyone local to me, we're doing a witchcraft workshop during the day at the very lovely vintage tea rooms, Queenie's Vintage Tea Rooms in Emsworth, right on the railway station. All of the details for this are on my website on the events page. But Pete has put you'll see lots of links appearing there as well. So that's it. That's the events out of the way. Good morning, Angela. Late, got distracted by my coffee. It's a good distraction. Good distraction. Good morning, Eve. Xenia, dressed up as Sabrina Spellman and Dorcas from the Weird Sisters from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina several times at work, but no one noticed. Oh no. I don't know if that's good or bad. Maria, it's a little place with lots of stairs, but it's lovely. I'm assuming that's the College of Psychic Studies. They are lovely, lovely people. Very, very nice to be working with them. Good morning, Denise. Xenia, looking forward to your in-person workshop. Yes, excellent. Good morning, Lizzie. So glad to say I'm finally feeling better after several weeks of not. Yeah, you and me both, Lizzie. It's lovely to have you with us. Good morning, Joy. Good evening, Corrigan. Over in Adelaide. Oh, we're so international. Rachel, we'll see you there. Pixie Maid is trading too. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Pixie Maid, absolutely amazing jewellery. Just fantastic. My little wild boar, my Larimar, and my wild boar bracelet, all Pixie Maid. Fantastic. Good morning, Jackie. Excellent. Lots of lovely people. Thank you so much for joining me. So, good morning, Sue. So, as we are so close to the 31st of October, which is Monday, Samhain is the subject for today. I've got some info, as always. But if you've got any comments, thoughts about Samhain, how you celebrate, what you do, your thoughts for what happens, what you'd like to do, what magic you work, chuck it in the comments and we'll get them up and discuss. I know Samhain is the 31st of October or the 1st of November, depending on how you celebrate it, or the 1st of May, if you're over the other side of the hemisphere. I don't see it as just one day. And I'm betting that most of you don't, because I'm betting that most of you will have already had your Samhain decorations up for some time. I tend to work with the Sabbats, not on that one particular day, but as a period of time. So I'll work with the Sabbats for 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks beforehand, and then 2, 3 weeks afterwards. So each Sabbat runs into the next one. And actually, drop. I do discuss it in here about working with each Sabbath as a season of time rather than just one date on the calendar. Because let's face it, you can't always be around to celebrate, to do a ritual, whatever it is, on that one exact date. And I think the energy of each Sabbath builds beforehand and then tails off afterwards. So it is the waxing and waning of the actual Sabbath. So it covers a period of time. Let's know lots of comments I've missed already. Lizzie, what is it about the shift in autumn that brings this unwellness? Yeah, the change in the weather does seem to do it, doesn't it? Jane's looking forward to Witch Fest at Feltham. Need to get cracking on the professor's socks so I can hand them over. I'll try and say hello on the day of the first time. That would be lovely, Jane. Do come up and say hello. Myself and Sue and Ness will be there. Xenia, Pixie Maid is trading there. Can you bring foxes? Request for Pixie Maid. Foxes. Lizzie, in Wales, let's get some of these up. Lizzie, in Wales, Samhain is known as Nos Calan Gaeth. I am pretty sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Summer's End, which is exactly what it means. Eve, mine up all year, just added my tree on the 1st of October. I think that's it, isn't it? Most of us will raid the shops for all of that Halloween decorations, and we keep them up all year. I've got quite a few up that are always up. Sephora, waiting another 6 months for our Samhain. Yes, because New Zealand, Australia, it's flipped, isn't it? So although Samhain falls on the 31st of October, Samhain is for me a period of time. It literally translates as summer's end, which just about sums it up. The autumn's here, it's full on. It also marks the last of the 3 harvests. The evenings have drawn in, the nights are getting cooler, leaves on the trees are all wearing their autumn colours, and it's looking amazing out there. We talked about leaves last week, so if you want to catch the video from last week, Working Magic with Leaves, you'll find it on the YouTube channel. This is the point of the year for me for honouring those that have gone before us. The veil between the worlds is thin at this time, which is a strange comment actually for me. I know the veil thins at this time of the year, but if you are a witch, if you do work as a witch, then you've always got that other world connection anyway. But I think it's easier for spirit to connect at this time of the year. The doorway to the spirit world swings open, basically, for people to make connection. Coffee has arrived.
Coffee.
Every home should have a Pete. That's what my mum says. Samhain is often actually thought as the new year as well, which is the beginning of the Celtic New Year. I do tend to see it as that, and I don't. I think it is a good time to kind of finish up stuff and look at stuff that you've done over the past year and make fresh decisions, but it has to work for you, obviously. My question, if you had to sum up the energy of Samhain in a word, in a couple of words, in a very short sentence, what would it mean to you? How would you sum it up? I have to say, I think my one word for this time of the year would be ancestors. For me, that's what it's all about. It is celebrating your ancestors and those that have passed beyond the veil. It's also a good time to go inwards, relish that silent moment in time. Now, the evenings are drawing in and it's getting colder. It's that kind of hibernation inner work time. Look back at the past months, see what worked, see what didn't, let go of that which no longer serves you, move forward with fresh new plans. It is a good time for doing that. But for me, it's primarily the ancestors. It is about remembering, recognizing, honoring those that have gone before you. So let's have a look at these. Maria, I put my lamps back up and decorate my altar with my mum's photo. I have got an altar set up with ancestors on. My pronunciation was good. Thank you, Lizzie. It was complete guesswork. You're very kind. Love Samhain. My favourite season is winter, but Halloween is a bit weird here as it's all happening in the spring. Yes, but flipped for the Southern Hemisphere. It must be quite weird. It must be quite weird. Glorious coffee. Yes, it is my very nice coffee. Good morning, Patricia from East Yorkshire. Very nice part of the world. Jane, has Pete got huge hands or is that a tiny mug? It is not a tiny mug. It's a big mug. He's 6'4", Jane. He's not tiny. Claire, my flat is wrecked upstairs. Neighbours flooded the place with sewage collapsed ceilings in temporary accommodation. Not good. Oh no, that's horrible. Oh, I hope that gets sorted out quickly for you, Claire. That's very unpleasant. Good morning, Charlie. Kerry, I agree. He's a good guy, your Pete. Yeah, he is 1 in a million, Kerry, that's for sure. But don't tell him. Maria, found it strange that the works has nothing associated with Halloween. I think it's interesting. When I was younger, Halloween wasn't a thing where I lived down in Surrey. It just wasn't. People didn't do trick-or-treating. They didn't, early 70s, 80s wasn't really a thing. It's only when I kind of hit my 20s that it really sort of started becoming a thing.
E.T. I remember.
E.T. Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it? It would have been.
mid-80s.
Because the whole trick-or-treating thing has come across from America. Obviously, the All Hallows Eve, the whole origins of Samhain are Celtic. They came from Britain. But the whole trick-or-treat thing, the whole Halloween thing, came across from America. But I don't remember it much as a child happening at all. But there did seem to be a period when the shops had loads of Halloween stuff. But in the last few years, it seems to get overrun by Christmas. Barely any Halloween stuff, if any, because the Christmas stuff comes in very early. TK Maxx often have good Halloween stuff, but you have to get in there early. Shadow work, yes, definitely. This time of the year and right through the autumn and winter is good for shadow work. Heather says remembering. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Lizzie says ancestors. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correct. Goyle, I hope I pronounced it correct. Good morning. Lovely to have you with us. Maria says he's kind of tall. Yeah, he is.
To be fair, everyone's tall to Maria.
That's so rude. Let's get some of these up. Energy of Samhain, comfort and retreat. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good morning, Candy and Keith. Hannah says, ancestors and remembrance. Yep, absolutely. Angela, Halloween decks this year in my part of France have been dire. Next to nothing, but the Christmas stuff has been out for almost 4 weeks. It does. It takes over, doesn't it? A couple of shops even have their Santa Grotto. Wow, that is early. That is early. Don't get me wrong. I love the festive season. I'm all up for it. That is my favourite time of the year. But yeah, we're kind of blocking out or trying to rub out one of the Sabbats, aren't you? So yeah, it's retail, it's commercial stuff, isn't it? Kerry, I'm doing spell jar for the year ahead, fresh start. Excellent time to do it. Christine, family that have gone on last harvest, leaves and definitely, absolutely, sadly no pumpkins. Only felted ones. Christine and pumpkins don't get on. We won't give you any pumpkins. You're safe. Maria, I miss my mum more than maybe because I can feel her more. I think it is a time for remembering whether you connect with Beyond the Veil or not. I think this time of year is about remembering those that have gone past. So I'm not surprised. Big hugs to you, my lovely. Emma, for me, it would be loved ones, ancestors, appreciating those around you and starting over. Summed it up pretty good. Maria, Pete's the same height as my son's dad. He is tall. Sephora, when we were kids, there wasn't much Halloween. It wasn't until American television invaded. I think, the how Halloween trick-or-treat thing has come across from America. Good or bad. I have a bit of a personal issue with it. The 31st of October is my birthday. So for many years now, since we had children, really, my birthday has been spent trick-or-treating or handing out kids to sticky, snotty children. It kind of takes over your birthday. So it kind of put a little bit of a different spin on it for me. It gave me a different insight to it.
You have your birthday early, yeah?
I have my birthday early now. Yeah, I'm like, I was going to say like the Queen used to. Oh, will the King have 2 birthdays now? I guess he will. An official one and a real one. Yeah, I have 2 birthdays. Kerry, ancestors and inner reflection. Absolutely. Heather, it used to be more about Guy Fawkes. Well, not, yes, 5th of November, which is my brother's birthday. 3 years later, but we like to keep the dates good in our family. Yeah, as a kid, it was, wasn't it? There were always kids with penny for the guy on street corners and outside shops and things. It was, wasn't it? I'd forgotten about that. It was much more to do with Guy Fawkes when we were younger. Leslie, in Scotland we call it geizing. We were given monkey nuts, apples and tangerines. Much healthier. Not quite so much fun. Actually, that's in the book. I have written about that in the book.
Is that a new book?
Anybody would think I was prompted for that. Pay you later, Leslie. Lizzie, for me, this is the time of year for reflection. Absolutely. Don't do a lot of decorating, but I make lots of small acknowledgements to the shift. Shift is a good word, actually, isn't it? I think you've hit the right word there. There is a shift in the energies. There's a shift in the seasons. There's a shift in the weather, and it does reflect into the energies. Have photos of family who have passed all year, so my attention is more direct to them. Get lots of dreams during this time as well. Yeah, I like that shift. You summed it up there, Lizzie. Corrigan. Went to my local craft shop the other day and there was Halloween decorations alongside Christmas ones. At least they had the Halloween ones. Angela, it's time to turn inward for me, a time to release outdated ideas, traumas and trapped emotions in preparation for shadow work and deep learning, which, yeah, winter is ideal for that, isn't it? So preparation for it, absolutely. Annette, I remember looking out my window as a child on the stroke of midnight on Halloween and was disappointed there were no ghosts and witches. Well, you would be, really, wouldn't you? It would be disappointing. Sephora, I intensely dislike the commercialization. I'm assuming you're talking about Christmas. The whole festive thing for me is not about the money, the retail, the commercialism, although we have quite often just wandered down to the city with don't need to buy anything, but just to go and sit in a cafe and have hot chocolate and watch all of the shoppers, because you get that energy. And for me, that's what it's all about. And that's actually how I work with all of the Sabbats. My favorite is Yule, because there's that build up of energy. There's that real, you can almost taste the fizz in the air kind of energy building up to it. Afterwards, like Boxing Day, for me, it's all done. And I feel the same about the other Sabbats as well. There is that energy in the weeks beforehand to build up to it. And then you kind of have a tailing off afterwards. So it is, for me, it's about riding that energy, working with that energy for any of the Sabbats. Xenia, I'm kind of happy that Halloween is taking over here more and more, because Northern Germany lacks a lot of public folk customs. Reformation eradicated a lot of ritual stuff, sadly. I don't mind the commercial stuff. Festivities and folk customs have always been reverence and merrymaking and fun, and both. For me, Germany has not been there. Do you have all of the Christmas markets? That seems to be quite a thing. We have German Christmas markets over here. So I'm assuming it's a thing. But I can do it again. I talk about it in this book. Folk traditions. I think folk traditions, folklore, local events, local traditions really can help us as pagans, as witches, as druids, as whatever your path might be, help you to connect with the energy of where you live. They help you connect with the community where you live. It helps. It gives you that connection. Learning the local customs, learning the local folklore, all helps. Janet, Mum always used to make vegetable beef soup on the last day of October. I guess it was her way of celebrating the last harvest. Perfect. It is the soup time of the year, actually, isn't it? It's definitely October kicks in the soup dragon. Trudy, I go with a feeling which heightens as days pass. Firstly, I tend to have a calmness and more of a meditative state. Then I get excited with the aesthetic of it. And then I need to be with family and ancestor time with reflection, riding the energies, riding the build up. Yeah, it does. It is about recognizing that flow of energy and working with it. Hannah, I don't remember Halloween as a child, only bonfire night. It was a bigger thing. Bonfire night was always a bigger thing. Heather reminded me then. It was. And Halloween wasn't really a thing. Heather, it'll be my mum's birthday, 23rd of November. So this time of the year, I feel very close. It is remembering, isn't it? It's remembering those that have gone before us. Jackie, earthing, grounding, starting over, ancestors, all much needed at the moment. Yes. Jackie needs a big hug at the moment. Well, thinking of you, Jackie, everything's a bit upside down, isn't it? If you are looking for Samhain gifts, if you're looking for Yule gifts, then do have a look at Bewitched Botanicals. They have an amazing product. Beautiful, wonderful, fantastic. So do have a look at Bewitched Botanicals. They have good stuff. Sephora, just have a birthday week. That's what we do here. Well, yeah, I did. My children had a early birthday party for me last night. This was one of my birthday presents. I had no birthday cake. I had birthday crumble. Fantastic. I had a birthday apple crumble with candles on it. Jackie, bring back Guy Fawkes. We sure need him right now. Colin, we used to go guising when I was a kid. It was a time to get money for buying fireworks. Yeah, it was much bigger thing. Definitely much bigger thing. Corrigan, lots of Scorpios. Yeah, I am a Scorpio. Maria, usually make a root vegetable soup, then also usually with cut up pumpkin. Yeah, pumpkin on its own, bit meh. Christine, don't listen. Roasted pumpkin, quite nice. Pumpkin soup, very nice. Roasted pumpkin soup with roasted onions, very nice. Pumpkin curry, very nice. Kerry, I have a picture of my mother and grandmother on my altar and have been lighting spiced apple tea lights. Oh, I bet they smell nice. And pumpkin pie, obviously, which is delicious. Pumpkin latte. Senia, for me, it's also a time of reflection, shedding like the trees shed their leaves. Perfect analogy. And focus inwards. Absolutely. Jane, I feel I should be trying to contact my biological grandpa again to ask him the questions I didn't ask the first time. Bit nervous about using a Ouija board on my own, but if I cast a circle and summon lots of protection, it should be okay. Gave up on ancestry DNA, but ended up meeting him at my first Ouija session a few weeks ago. Was thrilled. My nan took the secret of his identity to the grave. Okay, so she left me with a lot of psychic work to do. I do work with spirit boards. I call them spirit board rather than Ouija. Ouija is a brand name. It's a trademark name. So I do tend to call them spirit boards. They are perfectly safe if you know what you're doing. If you bring in protection, they are just another tool, like your tarot cards, like your scrying bowl, like your crystal ball. It is another magical tool. The power is within you. As long as you are careful and sensible about bringing in your protection and you know what you're doing, then they are fine. If you are a group of teenagers with no idea about magic, witchcraft, or spirit world, then it's probably fairly silly. But you know what you're doing, Jane. So, yeah, interesting. It'll be interesting to hear how you get on. Kerry went to a Catholic school, so celebrated Halloween as much as possible, just to be a rebel. Angela, ancestral work honouring is part of my dark half of the year work. It fits, doesn't it? It really does. Samhain is the new year for me. All new life starts in the dark, then thrives, develops in the light. Love it. Yeah, perfectly described. Maria, I have a feeling I'll be having a clean and clear up as I couldn't do it before in time for winter. It's a good time for that. Good time for that. Sue loves people watching. We do too. We quite like to sit outside cafes or inside cafes in the window and watch everyone. Angela, auto-correct, change Samhain to Samhain. Sounds like a character from some kind of fantasy novel. Jane, the commercialisation has its upside. Lots of deckies in the shop if you want them, and the Halloween bits and bobs are useful for witches all year round. You just have to be a bit early with them, I think. They do tend to bring them out early so that they can then bring the Christmas stuff out early. Leslie, I turn inward and reflect on what's past and what I want to bring forward. Perfect. Lizzie, it's the anticipation. It's a Rocky Horror moment there. Anticipation. I got tickets to Rocky Horror as part of my birthday present.
You're welcome.
It is the anticipation. Yeah, it is. It's the build up, isn't it? It is that energy and recognizing it and working with it. Emma, I remember one Halloween as a kid, my friend that we were living with at the time told me that skeletons were going to come in through the window, kept me awake all night. Oh, it would, wouldn't it? Kids are horrible. That would keep you awake, wouldn't it? Xenia, I also love going into the city and watch the decorations, or in rural areas, and there are farmers markets with gorgeous pumpkin and harvest displays. Yeah, you've got to make the most of it, haven't you? Find out what's on in your local area and go and be a part of it. Jane, there's a shop in Nuremberg that sells Christmas deckies all year round. There's one in Bath as well that sells Christmas. I think Sue said that there's one on the Isle of Wight as well that sells Christmas decorations all year round. I approve. Perhaps we need a Halloween shop all year round as well. Maria, you could meditate even. I'm assuming that's in regard to the spirit connection. Yes, absolutely. You can meditate to connect with the spirit world. You can do spell work to connect with the spirit world. There are different ways of doing it. There's a lesson on it in the school too. Susan, I think the commercialization may inspire children to start asking questions about witchcraft. I know I was curious, no bad thing. Indeed. Questions are all good. Christine, I love German Christmas. I used to go to them when I lived over there. I haven't visited, but yeah, it does seem the German Christmas markets we get over here quite a lot. Colin, make soup for my lunch all the time. We do as well. Homemade soup's good and so easy to do. Candy and Keith, my mum passed in February. I have her urn set up with her own altar. Makes me feel happy having her here. Promised I would bring her home. Look, perfect. Perfect. Corrigan, I absolutely love Yule as well, but there's no commercial build-up here in Australia. Interesting, because it's in June. Oh, well, yes, of course. Yes. I get together with friends for feasting and celebrations. It's winter and happiness. Perhaps that's the better way around. Colin, also remembering past lovers who have passed. Anybody, friends, lovers, family, whatever. If they've passed over, it's a good time to remember them and honour them. Claire, we always got pomegranate on Halloween as kids. Interesting. Perfect. Very fitting. Angela, I lived in Germany for almost 12 years. It's where I learned to love winter, loved the Christmas markets, hot Glühwein. I'm really rubbish at pronunciation. Yeah, that's hot, spicy.
Sounds like a carry-on film.
Kind of mulled wine, isn't it? Which I'm all up for. And they always made children the focus and very special for them. Brilliant. Maria, there was a German Christmas market in Trafalgar Square last year. Excellent. Yeah, we have one in Portsmouth in the city each Christmas. Jackie, just about to release our dark season stuff. Yes, definitely take a look at Bewitched Botanicals. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Jane, bonfire night was a biggie when I was a kid, and before climate change, it was a lot colder. Yeah, there was only one mask available in the shops, made of papier-mâché in various colours, cost about 4p. Oh, good times. It's interesting you mentioned the colder, isn't it? For me, that's part of why I've written about it in the book. For me, that's part of why I started changing how I work with the Sabbats, because the dates on the calendar, bear in mind that the Wheel of the Year, as we know it now, is a modern thing. The dates on the calendar didn't tie up with the seasons. When you're trying to celebrate the winter solstice, but it's not cold enough to wear a coat outside, and the roses are still flowering in your garden, it's a bit difficult to wrap your head around connecting with the energy of the winter solstice. I always say I think Mother Nature is menopausal, drunk, or both. She's definitely on something. So that it's more important for me to connect with the energy of the season, the energy of the weather outside, the energy of nature, connecting with what nature is doing, what the energy feels like each month, each week, each day. Far more important than marking that Sabbath as one day on the calendar, because it doesn't necessarily tie up with what's happening in nature. End of lecture. I think it is about you've got to make the Wheel of the Year work for you, and you've got to tie it in with where you live, because the seasons are so different across the world as well. Xenia, we have Christmas markets here gladly, yet Catholic areas have more festivities and folk customs. Yeah. When I was doing all the research for the book, so many saints festivals, just hundreds of them. But here's the thing. A lot of the folk festivals that you'll find in your area have been Christianized, but the origins of them were pagan. And even if they weren't, if the origins of them were Christian, you can paganize them. It's about connecting with the energy of those customs. It's about connecting with the energy of those traditions and making them work for you. Karen loves crumble. Crumble is one of my favorite puddings. Crumble and bread and butter pudding, bread pudding. Yeah, it was lovely. It was apple and caramel crumble, and it had birthday candle on it. Christine, I remember being naughty on Halloween with my 3 brothers, teasing the nosy neighbour. Yes, I had one there too. We used to stuff newspaper up her drain pipe, then set fire to it, and it was like a rocket taking off. Then we would run and hide. She always knew it was my lot. Dad always made bonfire toffee. That was good, gone by bonfire night. Yeah, don't say pumpkins. We're going to have to say pumpkins. They are so iconic for this time of the year. Christine, I knew you were naughty. Jane, pumpkin with apple and cinnamon in a pie with a lattice top and lots of custard. Yum. For breakfast. Colin, we used to make our lanterns out of sweets and turnips because we did not have pumpkin in our shops. Pumpkins are a thing that have come across from America. We originally used swedes, turnips, neeps to carve, which are much harder to carve than pumpkins. We talked about this the other week. But pumpkins are American. They came across, but they are much easier to carve. Jackie has launched a new soap called Ouija. Excellent. I look forward to trying that one. Hannah, I like to say a little blessing for the unremembered dead. I started this a few years back when I was reading headstones in the graveyard, and some of them are so worn you can't see the name. Got me thinking about all those past who never found or at the bottom of the ocean, etc. That is ideal. Yeah, absolutely. There doesn't even bear thinking about the numbers, does it? But I know what you mean about the graveyards. Yeah, it's a lot of them are uncared for as well, aren't they? Which is always sad to see. Jane, I've got friends who tried spirit board as silly teenagers and it scared them off because it worked. Good. If only I could convince them to have a proper go and actually meet their forebears. I think, lots of teenagers do mess about with it. And it can be very scary if you don't know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, then it's absolutely fine. Sue, I see I'm not the only one with this silly cough hanging about. Oh, it's dragging on, isn't it? It really is. Definitely dragging on. Rocky Horror Tickets, fantastic. I've probably been to see the Rocky Horror Show, I don't know, coming up with 10 times, I would imagine, but not for a very long time, so it will be brilliant to go. Trudy, just picked the best of the windfall apples, made a chutney, lit a candle, stirred with intent, and for me it was just perfect. Fabulous time of the year to do it. And apples, there's so many about this year as well. Colin has tickets for Queen's show on Sunday night. Fabulous. Have fun. Christine, shop in Blandford called Deck the Halls. It's open all year round and it's got a lovely old lady who works in there. They sell loads of things. Is she Mrs. Christmas? Is she Mrs. Claus? Brilliant. I need to go there, obviously. For me, shopping in pagan and Wiccan shops are similar to all year round Christmas shops. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Emma, the ironic thing is he passed when he was 16, so every Samhain I imagine him trying to scare me through the window. Good memories and a good giggle when I imagine it. Brilliant. Got lots of Rocky Horror quotes now. Step to the right. Christine, benefit of moving to Australia is 2 Christmases, one in June, the other in December. Yeah, why not? Oh, we got Christmas shops all over the place now. Letchlade in Gloucester too. I love the idea. Gloofvein, I'm probably not saying that right. Yeah, it is. I'm right. Is it a mulled wine type thing? Yum. Good morning, Sam. We are getting lots of Rocky Horror things now. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Sue, still have hedgehogs visiting for food and roses still in bloom. Yes, we've still got roses in bloom. We've still got pelargoniums flowering, begonias. Yeah, it's all still going in the garden at the minute. We don't have hedgehogs because we have a wall all the way around the garden. They'd need little sort of, ropes and kind of climbing gear to get into our garden. It is, Jackie, it's weird weather in the UK. It's going to be 21's high in Romford tomorrow, apparently. We are having ridiculously warm weather here at the moment. It's just mad. Angela, I sync my Sabbats with the moon phases and the energy of my local area nature, then focus on dates. It has to work for you. This is my whole point, that you have to reinvent the wheel. You have to make it work for you, where you are, what your folk customs are, what your traditions are, what your family does too. I think you can. My family aren't religious, but if your family did follow a particular religion, you can work your pagan into that as well. It is absolutely about making it work for you. Kerry, here in Clanelly, we used to carve swedes and trick or treat around our street. Yeah, it was always swedes or turnips over here. Hard to do. Kerry, I am 58 next month. Happy birthday for next month. I will be 54 on Monday. I feel like I'm about 94 at the moment, but that's a whole other thing. Jane, using spirit board with my newly found grandpa is difficult because he says he can't read or write. I have a story about that. So I can only ask him yes or no questions. He did give me his initials though and managed to spell out his nickname for Nana, so I knew it was him. Brilliant. Might try going to a spiritualist meet and see if he can get through better via a proper medium. I think you're talented enough anyway, Jane, and the connection will be stronger with you. I bought a ghost box to help alliterate spirits, but I haven't tried it yet. A lot of these activities need the collective energy of a group of people. I think if you will have the strongest connection to him, Jane, and you are incredibly talented. So I think you will be absolutely fine. But it's interesting you say about not being able to read or write. We did a spirit clearance from a shop a few years back now. And we got a spirit board out. Things were moving in the shop. The energy wasn't right. So we went in. We were asked in. And we got a spirit board out. And we struggled. We really, really struggled until we realised that the spirit was a small child and she couldn't read or write. So if she couldn't read or write, she couldn't work the spirit board. So yeah, do bear that in mind. Maria went to a Rocky Horror sing-along a couple of years back. Such fun. Yeah, I've been to the stage shows lots of times and it is amazing. Colin, a lot of Christian sites were pagan sites before they were taken over. Indeed, they were. Candy and Keith, I celebrate Mabon until Samhain. Samhain until Yule. Yes. Don't just celebrate the one day. I celebrate it for the whole season. I do. That's how I work it. I work one Sabbath to the next. They flow. They flow into each other. Jackie celebrates the Great Pumpkin. All hail the Great Pumpkin. Corrigan, I think we all have to adapt our wheels of the year to our place. Absolutely. Southern Hemisphere wheel is very different, obviously, but even within that, the weather is so different. Yes, you have to make it work for you, and it has to work with your seasons, with the energy, with the weather, with everything that is in your area. And you can do that a lot by bringing in the local traditions. Yeah, you have to make it work for you. Absolutely. Maria, it was like that in 2014. Actually, it was around 23 as we went trick-or-treating around Victoria in a sleeveless dress. Yeah, it is. It's all weird. All weird. Pia, thank you. Monday. And Samhain blessings to you too, my lovely. Looking forward to Pagan Tribal Gathering next year. It was brilliant this year. Christine, picnics in graveyards at midnight got to be done too. Just once, mind you, don't ever want to do it again. Well, if you're going to do it, just do it. Angela, considering France is now a secular country, they still celebrate one heck of a lot of saints' days, and quite a few are still public holidays, 1st of November being one of them. I think this is it, about connecting with your area. There are a lot of saints' days. Some of them are fascinating when you look into the stories behind them. And I will be sharing some of them on the 5th of November when I do my book launch. There are some really interesting saints' days and the folklore behind them. Once you've researched into it, you can make it work for you and put a pagan spin on it. It is very straightforward to do. Xenia, I embrace the make the best out of every custom, no matter what origins. May they have genuine pagan origins or invented by James Fraser. As long as the pagan or paganized customs work for people, everything is fine. Yes. The Wheel of the Year, some of that is modern in the spin that puts on it, but that doesn't matter. If it works for you, then it works for you. It's like the whole, do you call it Mabon, autumn equinox? Mabon is a modern name from the 70s. I don't care. That's what you want to call it. If that works for you, then it works for you. Just because the tradition isn't ancient doesn't mean it's not right. If it works for you, then it works for you. And I think particularly as families change, as generations change, Christmas traditions we used to do as kids change now with each generation. You add your own Christmas traditions, so that you can kind of take that theory with the Wheel of the Year and with the Sabbats, make your own traditions, make it work for you, make it work for the way that you do things. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Sue, my hubby's claim to fame is that he has walked through our local graveyard on every hour struck by the church bells. That is a fantastic claim to be able to make, isn't it? Christine, to be honest, I live with Santa, so I got to be Mrs. Christmas. I would love to be Mrs. Christmas. That would be my ideal job. Oh, the pronunciation. Thank you, Jane. Glurvine. Thank you. I'll try and remember that. Helen, used to be in a coven and missed this, especially at Samhain, but good memories. I work solitary now. Again, it has to work for you. And I think with the whole online thing now, you can be a solitary, but you can still be a part of a community as well, which is kind of what we do at Kitchen Witch. Because most of it is online, you can do your solitary thing. But if you want to be part of a Sabbath ritual, then join our Kitchen Witch online ritual. It's open to everyone. And you can be that part of a community, but still be separate, if that makes sense. So best of both worlds, really. Jane went into Romford yesterday and it was boiling. It is warm. Yep. Janet, we're having weird weather in the US as well. Nice to know it's not just us. Jackie, it's crazy, but at least we can keep the heating off. Yes, at least it's not going to cost us on the heating, is it? Lizzie, I'm still getting patty pans. I do like a patty pan. And I've also got carrots, parsnips and turnips growing in the garden. Parsnips are my favourite. Colin, mission impossible for the hedgehog. To get into our garden, it would be, absolutely. Maria, what ghost box? Be careful with those. As long as you know what you're doing, then it's all good. Remember, with the spirit world, if you know what you're doing, then it's all good. If you've got in your protection, then it's all good. But remember, with the spirit world, you are always in control. They cannot hurt you. They cannot physically touch you. You are in control. If you want to tell them to bugger off, tell them to bugger off. You are absolutely have that power. You are in control of all. Jane, thanks. In the words of Forrest Gump, I sure hope I don't let her down. Can't do a Forrest Gump accent. Jane, you've got the skills. Go for it. You know absolutely what you're doing. And I think if you are, as it's your family member, you will have that stronger connection. It's like spell work. I don't do spells for other people. I don't sell spells, charge for spells, because I think the person that has that want, that desire, that need is the better person to do the spell. So it's the same with spirit work. If you are trying to connect with one of your ancestors, then you will have that stronger connection, and you absolutely have the skills to do it. I look forward to hearing all about it. Emma, our apple tree is full of apples. They have been really good this year. So I like bringing them into the house for Samhain. I celebrate my ancestors' loved ones all year round. So on Samhain, I offer a meal and a seat with apples too. A nice dumb supper is an amazing thing to do for Samhain. Fascinating thing to do. Xenia, maybe shamanic journeying could help with spirits that can't read or write. You can journey, you can meditate to meet with spirit, absolutely. Lizzie, never seen Rocky Horror. Ducking now. It is a bit of a love or hate thing. Kerry, believe Hecate is associated with Samhain, but what about Lilith? Yeah, well, she's one of the dark goddesses, so that, yeah, absolutely. Jackie, hi Steve. Jackie has her own Pete. He's called Steve. We all need a Steve too, obviously. Sephora. So if you are setting up a sewing altar, what things would you think of including? Oh, I've got one behind me.
One you prepared earlier.
One I prepared earlier. So I work with the Kelech, and it's her time of the year, saying Kelech, hopefully properly, so that Leslie Ann doesn't tell me off. So I've got a statue of her. I've got an image of her from the very lovely friend sent me. So I've got all the bits and pieces of her there. I work with magpie, particularly this time of the year as well. They are a bird of mysteries and the occult. So I have magpie feathers, magpie wings on there. I have a skull. The skull is representative of my ancestors. So I always have a skull there for the ancestors. I've got my spirit animal guide, my main one as well. So I've got the boar. Got my little boar, a little piggy. He's on there too. I work with him all the time anyway. Yeah, lots of Kalak because it's her time of the year. I've got some. This is fab. Hedge oil for spirit and ancestor magic. So really, it has to, again, work for you. It's your altar, so it has to work for you. I work with the solar deities a lot. I work with Sulis. I work with Balanus, but they're kind of moved politely to the side because this is all about the Kalak. But make it how you want to work with it. Trust your intuition about what you would put on it. For me, it is the dark goddesses, it is the mysteries, it's the occult, but primarily it's about the ancestors. You can put photos of your ancestors on there as well. I've got a dresser in the other room that has all of the photos of ancestors on it. But trust your intuition. What's a patty pan? Little tiny courgette type thing, little round tiny courgette thing. Jackie, our cat Belladonna, good name for a cat, just trod on you on my iPad and I disappeared. That's rude. Trudy, a pheasant appeared on our local dog walk. We have never had pheasants in the area, or should I say I've never seen one in 53 years. So special, but what is the meaning? I feel grounding is needed, maybe. Trust your intuition. Yeah, I would. Pheasants are very earthy, with a bit of fire, maybe, creatures in them. Yeah, I think you've nailed it. Grounding would be the key for me. But it's what it means to you. Every animal has its traditional meaning, but it's what it means to you. If you want to delve into it some more, I would meditate with the idea of meeting pheasant in your meditation. Print off a picture of one from the internet and focus on it as you meditate to find out what it means to you. Charlie, doesn't carving pumpkins originally come from jack-o'-lanterns, turnips, Irish, and connected to will-o'-the-wisps? Like we have turkey for Christmas dinner now from the US, we had goose before. Yep. Yes, the whole idea of carving the jack-o'-lanterns was from turnips and swedes, and it was from Ireland, and it was about the spirit world. It was about the whole other world thing. Yeah, we have turkey for Christmas dinner because that came across from America. Originally, think Dickens' Christmas Carol. Yeah, we would have had roast goose. In fact, we have had roast goose on Christmas before, and it's very nice. Yeah, the whole pumpkins trick or treat thing has come across from America, but the whole All Hallows Eve comes from Ireland. Yeah, it all gets very complicated, doesn't it? Xenia, in my area, people can picnic in a graveyard all the time because we have one former old graveyard that was turned into a public park with old tombstones still there. Fantastic. Colin, should one wear jewelry when doing rituals? I wear a pentacle. Entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. Whatever you feel comfortable. I have my wild boar. I don't take it off. I have my wild boar bracelet. I don't take it off. So I've always got it on, whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I will wear something specific for a ritual. I've got mala beads for particular goddesses that I sometimes wear. If I feel I need a bit of protection, I might wear a tourmaline necklace. Entirely up to you. Candy and Keith, very excited for your book. Pre-ordered ages ago. Thank you. Sephora, Rocky Horror Show. We've got a Riff Raff statue in Hamilton, New Zealand. Fantastic. Xenia, I might visit our large famous cemetery with the angel statues too. Let's just hope they're not the weeping angels. Beware the weeping angels. Angela, when we're in Germany, we lived next to a cemetery. Sundays were beautiful as the German families brought picnics to the cemetery and had Sunday lunch with their past loved ones and ancestors. It is a bit of a tradition, actually, in some cultures, isn't it, to go to the gravestones at this time of the year and, yeah, celebrate, party with those that have passed before. Absolutely. Corrigan, we have Lithmus here. Some of my family expect Christmas festivities, and some of us Southern Hemisphere pagans celebrate Lithit or the summer solstice. It's a mishmash. Again, you have to work with what works, what feels right to you. Go with the energy of the flow where you are. Maria, absolutely love magpies. Yeah, I've worked with magpies for a long time. Xenia too, yeah. Christine, got myself a Derek. He has white hair and sometimes a big bushy white beard, and it's hilarious seeing kids' faces when they see him. Not just kids, I'd be the same. He also did Santa for the round table at Christmas, but he stopped when a group of old ladies in their 80s wanted to sit on his knee. Yeah, I don't blame him. Jane, Jane, a ghost box is just a simple radio that sweeps through all the local stations in a loop. You speed up the sweep and add reverb to create white noise, like all the flickers on an untuned TV screen. And it makes a sort of portable portal for spirits to communicate through. They can pick out the sound frequencies they want and use them to make sounds, words, etc. It's very basic. You won't get the Hallelujah chorus or anything. It's fun to do divination with the radio, with a normal radio as well. Just ask a question and turn the radio and see what's playing. But yes, that works. But I honestly, Jane, I think you have the skills to do it anyway. Maria went out with the Derek. No, I don't think I've ever been out with the Derek. Embassy Eric movement. He's moved the blanket, so it's now over his head. The blanket's over his head. The rest of his body is not covered by the blanket. Good morning, Kim. Maria, I know what they are. You just have to be open to the fact a few will jump on the wagon to be heard. So just tell them they're not allowed to stay. It's the thing. It is the thing. Once you open up to spirit, it's a bit like turning a big lantern on. It's the bat signal. You're basically turning on this big shining light with the bat signal saying, hey, here I am. Spirits, come and talk to me. And they will all hone in on. I remember the very, very first time I did mediumship training, the teacher did this whole thing with us, and I opened up and I was bombarded with all of these people. It was overwhelming. And he explained that it's exactly that. You're switching a light on and you are advertising that you're open for business, and all of the spirit world go, hey, let's party in. So you have to just be in control of it and know that you can say, okay, form an orderly clue. Line up, take your turn, take a ticket. Yeah, it's about knowing that you are always in control. I'm very aware we've gone over an hour now, but hey. Kerry, it's nearly my birthday. Kerry, why did turnips always remind me of Blackadder? Yes. Baldrick and his turnip. Yes. Blackadder, excellent. Colin used to have venison for Christmas rather than turkey. I would imagine quite a lot of families did back in the day. Definitely. Senia, that's a running gag. The weeping angels. Don't blink. Don't blink. Maria, I may go see. Yes, I would, Maria. Do it. Colin, I spent one Christmas in Malra, and the grave statues there were magnificent. Some cemeteries are amazing to look at, some of the stuff. Leslie's dad was called Derek. We got a whole Derek thing going on here now. Jane, yes, we had some unwelcome spirits at our spirit board session. Not evil, just naughty. And we told them in no uncertain terms to go away, and they did. I actually think that the experience of spirit being evil is very, very, very tiny. Spirits just want to talk. Yeah, and they do. A lot of them have a sense of humour. It's just knowing that you're in control. So we should send you some photos of the Father Christmas fillers. I think let's do a thread in the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group. We want all your Father Christmas husband photos. Definitely. Definitely. Kim, I'm wondering if there's a right way to do a Samhain ceremony for the Norse gods. Interestingly, we're going to have a Norse-themed Kitchen Witch Yule ritual. So do look out for that. There is... Norse heathen rituals are different to the standard Wiccan type witchcraft structure rituals. There is a different way of doing things. So if you want to do it true to the Norse way, then do some research on Norse rituals or heathen rituals, because they are slightly different. But it's your ceremony, so make it work for you. Do what works right for you. Turnips and dung. That's the theme for today's talk, is turnips and dung. Jackie, happy birthday Monday. Thank you very much. So for a mindless like Cat Weasel, I've forgotten about Cat Weasel. He was good. It's good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So yeah, have a fantastic weekend. Work with the energy of Samhain. Make it work for you. It is that time of the year to have soups, to have casseroles, to work with the produce. And that's a whole other thing that you've heard me waffle on about, is eating seasonally. It helps you stay connected, same as working with the festivals and the folk things and the traditions. Bring in seasonal food as well, because it will help you stay connected. But it is a fantastic time of the year for divination, for spirit work, for inner work, but definitely about ancestors. I think for me, that's the whole thing. Definitely. Xenia says Norse have different, they do. Norse have different festivities. Hell would be perfect. The goddess Hell would be perfect for Samhain. But if you are interested in working with that, do some research, because it's always fascinating to work with different types of ritual and see what works for you. Thank you, everyone, for all the birthday messages. So yes, lots on. Click on any of the links that Pete has very kindly put in the comments if you're interested in any of the events that are going on. If you want them all in one place, have a look on my website on the events page, because they're all listed there, or look on the Kitchen Witch group for those events. Anyone that's got this stinky cold cough, hope it clears up soon. Have fun carving your Swedes and your turnips, if that's what you decide to do. Obviously, we'd love to see all of your Samhain pictures, Samhain altars, pumpkin carving, Swede carving, and of course your Santa husbands would be, or wives. Let's, on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook page. It'd be fab to see all the photos. So enjoy whatever you are doing. Work with the energies. Make it work for you. It absolutely has to work for you. So have fun, people. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, as always, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Whatever you're doing, have fun. Take care.